Uh-oh, my mic. Forgot to turn it down. I'm not prepared, sorry. Hi, everybody. Or 6 people. Thank you for joining my final chat. There's 9 people. I'll give some people some time, and then I'll play that 4-minute video that I played yesterday. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but here we are. I've ignored my spring cleaning for months, Charlotte. Hi, Marianne. Thanks for joining. Sister Sarah, go to bed. You're my cousin. I'm part Irish. My grandmother was born in Ireland. County Mayo. Thank you, human animal. Oh my God, Billy. Billy, thank you for your ridiculous comments on all of my chats. All right, I'll give people like 5 minutes to come in. Like I said, I'll play that 4-minute video. Hi, Nisi. I'm working on an update video to Delphi, basically just looking into Kagan, Tony, Klein, and Ron Logan. And my short video is just going to show some of the things that I found so far. Joseph, I see you. Or I see somebody tried to get in the chat, but last night, hello. Let's see. Last night, somebody showed an inappropriate video, and I'm not letting anybody in without seeing them on video. Hi, Desire of the Heart. Thank you, Foxy. Thank you for coming back. Thank you, Charles. Hi, Cindy. Yeah, I don't know if Jackie's back. That was the name of a movie. In another few minutes, I'll play my video to start off. And for those of you who have not seen it yet, it's nothing great, but I found a few things. Cindy, I've spent a few hundred hours on Delphi, and I don't know how much I even know. Hi, R. Buey, or whatever your name is. Sorry. Thank you, S. Jab. Hi, 88 miles an hour. Do you know what witness the second sketch came from? I'm not sure. I don't know if it's arguing couple guy or what. Billy. Hi, Peter. Thank you. Oh, yeah, Gray Hughes. I have nothing against Gray Hughes, but if anybody gets out of line in the chat, that's when I'm going to yell. Hi, Michelle Saint. Yes, I just edited my stupid making fun of the news. I'll upload it later after this. No, Cindy, we don't think it was the landowner. What mystifies you more, Missy Beavers or Delphi? Both equally. And the videos drive me nuts. the low quality, how they change from frame to frame. All right, we're at 54. Give me like 1 more minute and I'll play my video. Yeah, hopefully within the next month, Patricia, I'll have my update video for Delphi. And then I need a break. I've been spending the last 16 months looking into both of these cases. It's okay, Cindy. All right, I'm going to play this video. It's 4 minutes long. It's some of the things that I found in the past month or so looking into Delphi again. How am I going to do this? All right, hold on. Hopefully this will work. I made this short video of some of the things that I've been working on and looking into. I don't think any of them are going to solve it, but I just thought I'd share some of these things. In December of 2021, the police put out a press release saying, if you talk to Anthony Schatz, please contact us. From about 2015 to 2017, Kagan was looking for underage girls to talk to online. So I made this composite of Kagan, his dad, the killer, and Anthony Schatz. And I thought that a way to be more proactive would be to look online on personals websites in Indiana, search girls from 18 to 23 who would have been the age that Kagan was looking for about 5 years ago. And I sent them this picture saying, if you talk to any of these guys 5 years ago or more, you should probably call the police. Nobody replied to me, but I think that's a little bit more proactive than just hoping people will contact the police directly, seeing their press release. Yeah, I know this looks kind of ridiculous, but I wanted to at least see the killer's face, although he has several faces, obviously. As you go through that short video, it changes. So on the left was one screen capture, and on the right is towards the end of the bridge guy video. And that also is not very clear. And like I showed in my first video, the right side of his face has a bubble, like a pixelation bubble over it, so you really can't see exactly what he looks like. I made this body comparison. I was not able to find a picture of Kagan's full body, thank God. And this is not a perfect comparison, but I thought I'd at least try. To me, Kagan and Tony have wider bodies. And also, the first press release said that bridge guy, or the killer, was 5'6" to 5'10". Kagan is at least 5'10", and his dad is taller than him. I made this composite trying to see how tall Tony was. So Tony Klein likes car racing, and he likes this guy, Dave Darland, who is a local Indiana car racer. So I found an old picture of Dave Darland standing next to the race car driver, Tony Stewart, who online it says he's 5'9". So I drew a line near the top of Tony Stewart's head at 5'9". Then I put a picture of Dave Darland next to himself, next to Tony Klein, next to himself, next to Kagan. So you can see their comparison next to somebody who's 5'9". Obviously, this is not perfect, but it's just an idea. This is a comparison of Ron Logan. Obviously, it's not perfect. I do not think that he's wearing the same shirt, the same jeans, the same boots, or the same hat. Here's a different outfit and different shoes. Ron's waist seems like it's bigger, and obviously he has gray hair and a gray mustache, and I don't see that on the killer. Also, he has dark blue jeans, and I think most older men do not have a large selection of jeans, so I can't really see Ron Logan owning the lighter color jeans of the killer. This is from that satellite image I got. That's Ron's house on the right, the cemetery more towards the left. Like I said in my first video, this isn't very clear, so you really can't see anything. We all know that Kagan is a huge liar, so I wanted to see if he really was on the Warped tour. So on the bottom there, I found his Facebook post from July 10th, 2018, and it was some band where the person is shooting a video from the side of the stage. So I wondered, was that really Kagan? So long story short, on the top, I found a YouTube video where luckily the person in the audience turned their camera to the left side of the stage, and you'll see if it's Kagan or not. That ain't Kagan. So Kagan did not specifically say, this is me on the side of the stage taking this video, but he kind of implied it. So at least I was able to find that that was not Kagan. Lastly, Kagan said that on the 13th of February, he and his dad watched a wrestling pay-per-view. So I looked online, and that was on February 12th, which was Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, which is Indiana time. So I don't know if he's misremembering it or what is going on.
Down the hill. Down the hill.
So that was just a quick update. I see there's 2 people in the chat. Hi, Doug. Hi, questions. Doug, you keep going on and off camera. Give me 1 second. Yes, Doug, you can join as long as you're not inappropriate. All right, so Doug, give me 1 second to look through the comments, and then I'll get you guys at the bottom there. Yeah, Lori, like I said in my video, or I was talking about yesterday, I mentioned the holes in the jeans. I know a lot of people disagreed with me about that, but it was something that I could not mention seeing, because I looked at that video, I'm sure like all of you, hundreds of times. So I'm not certain that there are holes in the jeans, but I definitely think that there is some kind of white shading that is unique to those jeans. Are you going to be normal or no? All right, I'll do one more. Questions, are you ready? Give me a thumbs up. All right, here we go. Hi there.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time hearing you. I'm actually talking through my headphones.
Okay.
So I had some questions and then I'll get off. So do we really think it was done online, like an online account? And do they think that they could actually outsmart the FBI in their crypto side? Do you think they released? Why do you think they released the info on Ron Logan's alibi if he wasn't guilty of the crime? Why was Bridge Guy dressed the way he was? Why was he dressed kind of casually instead of being, I guess, outfitted to do whatever he was going to do? And then what exactly happened prior to the recording that made her start recording Bridge Guy on the bridge? If that makes sense. I did want to say, I did appreciate your content. It wasn't clickbaity, and you didn't really push any biases out there.
First of
I'm
all,
gonna go ahead and get off, then join back to the stream, and then listen up. But if you need those questions again, just let me know, and I'll post those questions in the chat.
All right, thank you for not being a troll. Yeah, you had a lot of questions there. Which ones do I remember? As you're saying them, I was remembering what I would say. Ron Logan, I guess the Murder Sheet podcast released his warrant, I guess within the past few weeks. And it seemed like, well, one thing that I'm curious about is why did they wait until March 6th to do any kind of warrant on Ron's properties? Like 2 girls are found on someone's property. Why not look at his house and stuff on the 14th? And I forget all of your other questions. I'm sorry. What else did he ask me? Something about crypto, or why do I think they released Anthony shots? I think they can't figure out if it was Kagan or his dad, or if Kagan somehow told somebody about the girls being at the bridge that day. Because I was talking yesterday about, what was I talking about yesterday? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so in Kagan's interview, that 194-page document, the police were saying, we have your GPS from your phone from all day. So at 8 a.m. on the 13th, sorry, Kagan was at home, and he was going between his 2 cell phones, signing in and out of Snapchat. And then the police said later in the afternoon, he was on Country Club Road, which is in Peru, which is where he lives with his dad, but his parents or his grandparents live near, I guess, Country Club Road. So my thing was, if they think that Kagan was involved, why would his GPS not be showing up at Delphi? And if he was going to meet Libby at the bridge, wouldn't he keep his cell phone on in case she sends some kind of message saying, I'm here or I'm late or something like that? So honestly, I can't figure it out. Hi, Scarred. Are you on? Can you be on camera real quick just to show me that you're not a troll? Can you wave? All right. You want to come on now? Give me a thumbs up. All right, here we go. We have this person from Indiana. Hi there.
Hi, yeah, I'm born and raised in Indiana. Now I live in Chile, but I was going through lives because I saw, it's been so long since this case, you would think they'd have caught the suspect, and the last I heard was like the owner of the property. They're claiming like he died and that he could have been responsible. So,
Well, the reason they did that is because at some point they had to look on his property, which I was just saying on March. So they were killed on the 13th. On March 6th was the first
right,
time they went to Ron Logan, the property owner's property. And I think that first search warrant said they were only looking for firearms. And then I think on March 16th or 17th, like a month later, they did like a full search of Ron Logan's property, his truck they took away. So to me, it seems like they never found anything or any evidence that Ron Logan was involved. But at the time, they had to say in the search warrant certain things like, oh, I was surprised that it said that at 2:09, Ron
right.
Logan, his cell phone, he made a phone call at 2:09. But I was thinking, if the killer encountered the girls at 2:13, did Ron Logan's cell phone records show that he was on the phone for 10 minutes for that call at 2:09? So if he was, that would mean that he was not on the bridge when the girls were encountered.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm conflicted about because apparently, like from what I understand, and like like I said, it's been so long this case, and I recently like looked into it last week to see if there had been any updates and found this information. But I remember hearing something about the reason that like I guess he had a family member lie
Yeah,
that
so
he was like
Ron was 77 years old at this time. He had a few driving while intoxicated charges against him, so he knew that he was not supposed to be driving. So from 11:53 to 11:58 on the day of the murders, he drove about 10 minutes to this recycling station, which they call a transfer station. I don't know if you're familiar with that term from Indiana.
yeah,
Um, so he later, I guess the following day on the 14th at 9:20 in the morning or something, he called his cousin to say, I need an alibi for the afternoon because he drove
right.
himself to, do you know the name of the town that was? The aquarium
Didn't
place?
he say it was in like Lafayette?
Lafayette? Yeah, Lafayette.
Yeah.
So he has a receipt from the aquarium store at 5:21, but it seemed to me like
Oh, so
he's
he actually was there.
correct. He went by himself.
Okay, I was under the impression that they like found like his cell phone like pinged at the location or
Well,
something,
his
and that the FBI apparently said like his voice couldn't be ruled out as
Yeah,
like
that was at the
the
beginning,
same
which I
voice.
think when I hear Ron Logan's voice, I hear like a really old man. Like if you're a voiceover casting agent and you wanted an old sounding guy, you would cast Ron Logan. You would not cast the voice of the killer to me. So Ron,
Hmm.
his cell phone was captured. They said near this bridge, but I think they were kind of exaggerating and they can't do it exactly. At 2:09, I think at 7:56 p.m. on the 13th, they said his cell phone was outside. Either he texted or received a text. And then at 10:16 that night, it said he could have been outside near the bodies, and either he received a text or sent a text. And then 9:20 the following morning is when he asked for an alibi from his cousin, which I think was him just saying, I don't want to die in jail. Like he's 77 years old, and if the police found out that he drove, I think he was just concerned that it was going to be the rest of his life in jail. So I do not think Ron Logan was on the bridge. His ex-wife apparently did a Facebook post saying he was so afraid of heights that he would only go 3 or 4 feet out on the bridge. So I don't know if he was involved otherwise, but the police obviously did not find any kind of evidence in his truck or any of his property.
Hmm.
Did that answer your question? Sorry.
So do you believe that who I forget his name, there was somebody related on charges, I'm not going to say the word, but
Yeah.
CP
See,
charges,
yeah, they call it CSAM. So that's Kagan Klein.
yeah, that I heard it could perhaps be his father, like, or
Yeah.
he
So,
might have just
yeah, Kagan created a profile on various social media apps called Anthony Shots, where he stole photos
yeah,
of
the
a
model of the
yeah, yeah.
police officer, yeah.
So police did this 100. Did you read the 194-page interview with Kagan, or no?
No, I didn't. Like I said, I've always been like, because I'm from Indiana, and I would have thought, by now I'm into, true crime and crime being solved. And, I was like, what's up? Has there been any updates? And then I found out all this information. I believe it was 2 weeks ago when that
Ron Logan thing.
podcast
Yeah.
released the documents from the FBI, and that's how I found out about Keegan and everything. So it's
Police
just
said
a
that.
shame, because I just can't believe that it's been so long. Like, I don't really have any theories myself unless somebody's covering up for it, because I know exactly where that is. It's so rural, everyone really knows each other, so it's kind of, if the killer was involved with, like, had any law enforcement relatives, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure where you're from, but Indiana, like, especially that area, like, it's weird things happen. So I just think it's just strange that this still hasn't been solved. And
Yeah, I mean, I
there have
think they
been
thought immediately as soon as they released a picture and the voice that people in the area were going to identify the guy as soon as possible, like within a few days. And to
yeah,
me, it was
because
so weird. They put out, I mean, there's so many facts in this case. I honestly forget about a lot of stuff. But they put out a sketch, I guess, at first, and it seemed like there was until the summer of that first year. I think that was when they released the video part of it. Actually, yeah, that guy before, I guess, asked about the video and what caused Libby to start it. But then 2 years later, they released this young guy, sketch number 2, that looked nothing like, to me, it looks nothing like the guy on the bridge.
right, yeah, and that's what I don't understand. And then I, like, 2 weeks ago, I also found that they found a guy that looked similar, like almost identical to the guy in the sketches, but he was ruled out. So
I'm
it's
not sure who
just
that
it's just
was.
really sad that this happened. Um, so I was like seeing if there was any new updates, and I found your video, and I was trying to see your thoughts. So do you think, like, the killer is still at large?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
hopefully they're
none
working
of
on
the
something with this Anthony Shots thing. They think because the Anthony Shots profile said they were going to meet, or they were the last person apparently to talk to Libby on social media. And obviously, I think they think that somebody somehow went there. I don't know if they're thinking it's Kagan's dad, Tony, or not. It seems like in the interview with Kagan, they want him to somehow implicate his father. But to me, I don't know that it looks or sounds like either Kagan or Tony on the bridge. So I don't know.
well, Kagan, as well, from what I've seen, he's a lot heavier than the image we all saw, but I'm not sure what his father looks like.
Well, his dad was pretty heavy at one point, but he lost a weight, I guess, a few years ago. But he's never really had facial hair. It looks like the guy on the bridge does have a mustache,
Yeah,
and the Tony shaves his head on the side, and he has like a crew cut on top with gray hair. And the witness said the killer had reddish hair and was wearing a painter's hat. And to me, like what I saw online of all of Tony and Kagan's clothes, I mean, they have like a lot of NASCAR stuff. Kagan has big baseball hats and like sports stuff. And I just don't really see either of them having this clothing in their closets. Although somebody yesterday, I guess, said if you're planning to do a murder, go to Goodwill or something and get an older outfit that would not identify you.
right, but that's another thing I've always been curious about too, and which we don't know really. Um, that's assuming it was premeditated, because that's assuming it was involved with Kagan, or his father, because it also could have been just some random psychopath walking along, the bridge and saw them,
Mhm.
and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that's a possibility since it's been so long. They have not been able to make any connections between the Kleins for 5 years. They raided them on February 25th, 11 days or 12 days after the murder. They didn't find anything at first, and I don't know why they've gone back to the Kleins when at first they did not.
Yeah, it's been very strange. So, I subbed to your channel. So, do you plan on like keeping us updated?
Yeah, well,
Because
right now I'm working on a longer video about Kagan, Tony, and Ron Logan. So I hope to get that done by July in the next few weeks.
okay, awesome. Yeah, I
All
just
right.
wanted to stop by and like see your opinion and just share mine a bit. You kind of like cleared some things up for me.
All right. I appreciate you joining, not being a
Thank you
troll.
for having me on. But
No
you have a
problem. Thank you
nice
for joining.
evening.
Thank you too. All right, I'll get back to the comments in the chat. Give me a second. Sorry, you guys, I missed the chat, so I'm going to look at the chat, although I'm way behind. Give me a second. Michelle says, it looks like slits in the jeans. I've seen those fast, big slits from laying carpet or paint contractors sanding baseboards. Yeah, I'll go through the video real quick. Let me see. So obviously in my video, I said I thought those black holes were holes in the jeans. On the right there, the right leg that we're looking at, so his left leg under that hole, the entire time, it looks like there's a white area. So if there's not even those black holes, if those are just pixelation, I think that white at least is some kind of faded mark. Like right there, it really sticks out. I don't know. Like I said, this video is really frustrating. Let's see. Thank you, Billy. Yeah, I'm way behind in the chat. Sorry. Why is Bridge Guy dressed like that? Well, I mean, we were talking about yesterday, this person, this guy who killed the girls, has so much stuff in his jacket. It seems to me like it would be pre-planned, some kind of abduction or murder, because that's not normal stuff, amount of stuff that he has in that jacket. Damage to the jeans on the man in the 1.8-second video is the result of wearing industrial knee protection, which protects the knee, but wears out the jeans at the knees. I have photos of Ryan in knee pads. Why did the press release the bad alibi? I'm not sure what that's about. Okay, yeah, so that guy before said, what made Libby record? Like I said in my video, I don't know. The girls got dropped off on that side lot and they walked towards that. There's a bench there and they made a left towards the high bridge. So I don't know, where was this killer at that point? Did the girls see him? Was he on that bench or what? So they may have seen him acting weird or just staring at them in that area. They walked down to the bridge. Maybe they saw him kind of starting to walk behind them at a certain point before they even went on the bridge. They take their pictures. Like, I think some people think that there's a guy or somebody in the background in the one Abby picture, but it's not. There's some kind of gate there. So obviously, I don't know if they plan to meet somebody or not, but even if they did not, if you see some guy walking towards you, if you're a teenage girl, I can totally understand that she at some point just clicked record just to be safe. And I believe in that Ron Logan search warrant, it said it was 43 seconds long. What do you think of Tony Klein? He's a horrible person, first of all. I mean, he has that history of abusing his stepdaughter, his stepson, his wife, which is Kagan's mom. Hopefully he'll get charged with something, which I said yesterday is one of the reasons that Kagan is not saying anything about his dad, because if his dad gets arrested for something that Kagan blames him for, they're going to be in jail together for years. So it seems to me like Tony is Kagan's last chance for, like, just not love in a romantic sense, but some familial love. And if Kagan ruins it and he has to spend the rest of his life in jail and spending whatever, how many years Tony lives or whatever, that's going to be really awkward. So I don't know. That's maybe why Kagan is being quiet. I think he was dressed that way to appear casual and not draw a lot of attention to himself. Well, people online have said practically every man in Indiana dresses this way. Thank you, Billy. I'll send it to him in jail. Why is BG dressed casually or equipped for the job? Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know what's going on under that jacket. There's debate if he has a brown hoodie on, which to me in this last frame, which might be the clearest frame, it does look like it could be a shirt or a hoodie, that brown part. But as you go back further, it kind of takes a different shape. Like there, it looks like it could be some kind of fanny pack or a gun pack or something like that. Some people said they think he has a gun. So on the left side of the screen, they think he's holding a gun and the police blurred out that part. I don't know about that. I'm just going through the chat. Sorry, I missed a lot of stuff. Lori does not think the Kleins are involved. Yeah, I mean, there was a second incident. So Tony Klein is usually off on Mondays, which couldn't give him time to do this. And 7 days later, I'm not sure if you guys read this, but apparently Anthony Schatz, Kagan, was talking to this girl. He already knew their family. And he said at some point she showed some interest in him, but he was using the Anthony Schatz profile to talk to her. And so at a certain point, she gave Anthony Schatz online her address. And 7 days after the murder, on Monday, the 20th of February, she gets off the school bus because her parents are not home and she thinks he's going to hook up with Anthony Schatz. And she sees a guy in a ski mask. I guess her bedroom is on the first floor and he was looking in her bedroom. So there was a police report filed, but apparently it's not available online. And police have not been able to figure out who that was, I guess. But I was saying yesterday, my thought for figuring out who that guy was, can police search like Waze or Google Maps, Apple Maps on somebody's cell phone or GPS to see who entered her address? I mean, that could make sense to me. I don't know if they're able to do it or not. How much extra footage do you think law enforcement has from her cell phone? I know that they referenced this 43-second video. I don't know what else she could have. At one point, I think people said there's a 2-minute video, but I'm not sure. And I imagine the girls sound very scared, and I know why people or police would not want the family to hear their daughters and granddaughters about to get murdered. But I think if there's any more voice of the killer, why not release that? My problem is if the Kleins were involved, they would have been aware of the Schatz communications on Libby's phone. Getting that phone would have been priority number one for him then. Yeah, yesterday I went through 2 different theories that I had about why police are looking into the Kleins. Or give me 1 second. If you have not found the 194-page interview, I put the PDF on my website. I'm not looking to send people to my website, but go to tomwebster.com/Delphi, and there's a few PDFs from law enforcement there. Give me a second. I'm opening a Word document. And on my website, I have it typed, this police interview typed up that I typed up as I was going through, and I enter some of my notes and thoughts. Let's see. So I'm looking for these two potential scenarios that I thought of. Okay, I'm going to share this. Give me a second. All right, so I'm just going to read this. So is this the theory police are working? Kagan did not have his license or a car. So in the 2020 interview where police referenced Kagan's 2017 interview and said he lied about being at his grandparents' house from noon to 3 on the 13th and saying that he was with his dad the whole time. Kagan's phone showed he was at his friend's house on Country Club Road searching for adult videos connected to, via Wi-Fi at that house. Kagan later admitted he lied because his friend was a big drug dealer and he didn't want police to know he was there. So do police think that Kagan told Tony that Libby would be at the end of the bridge alone, expecting Anthony shots? Tony dropped Kagan off at his friend's house to do drugs while Tony thought he could do something sexual with Libby. Tony got angry. Libby brought Abby, and it led to murder when Tony realized the girls would call the police thinking he made the fake Anthony Shots profile and was talking to underage girls. Maybe they ran, and his instinct was to prevent them from being able to tell on him. Kagan had to go along with his dad's alibi because, I don't know, maybe the CSAM. This is just my draft thoughts. So my things against this were, I think Tony is too tall for bridge guy because the 130 teenage girl who saw the killer near Freedom Bridge, she said she was 5'6", and the killer was only about her height or an inch taller, plus had reddish brown hair. And Tony's voice seems a little too high. So police could have easily asked Tony's parents if he and Kagan were there on the 13th at the time of the murders. How far is the grandparents' house from Monon High Bridge? I looked on a map, and it was either 46 to 57 minutes, depending on the roads. So that's 90 minutes round trip, plus possibly 10 minutes to get from the parking area to the end of the bridge, 10 more to get back. The murder plus staging the scene, at least 10 to 15 minutes. 2 hours is the shortest amount of time, but supposedly bridge guy was seen as early as 1:30, and police have asked about a car at CPS from noon to 5. So I don't know how this timing works up. My second thought that I'm trying to think about is I wondered if Libby somehow exchanged photos with Kagan and he was afraid she was going to get him arrested. So he had her reset her phone about a week or 10 days earlier. I'm sure a lot of you know about that, or at least her resetting it. And then he was still worried, so he had her go to the bridge to kill her to prevent her from him getting arrested. Against this, I thought, is Kagan chatted with literally hundreds of girls and got hundreds of photos, but he never attempted to kill them. Yes, he apparently told a girl, the Kayla girl from the Murder Shots podcast, she brought her friend to the park when he thought she was going to be there alone, and afterwards he sent her a chat message saying he would kill her. But it does not seem to me like Kagan would have plotted to murder anyone. Also, I need to think about what goes against this theory. Let's see. I'm going back to the comments. Sorry, I'm way behind on the comments. Cody, what made her record specifically? Why did press release bad alibi? And could this really be untraceable online? Sorry, I have a hard time speaking in front of people. Yeah, so do I. I mean, apparently so far it's untraceable and people do not know, or the police don't know if Anthony Schatz was accessible by anybody else. I was wondering, did Kagan give his password to Dropbox to some other guy for files, and that person somehow used that password that maybe Kagan, I doubt he would give out his normal password for his social media accounts as his Dropbox password he's sharing with other people, but could that have been somebody who knew that Libby was going to be there without Kagan even knowing that person was logging into Kagan's social media? Sometimes there are email notifications saying there's a new device accessing your account. And also, if the Kleins did the Delphi murder, wouldn't they be laying low a week later? It's like if somebody killed Libby and Abby, are they really looking in another girl's window 7 days later? I don't know. Meth heads is the answer. Yeah, I was looking online and I saw somebody posted a screen capture of a local newspaper article saying Ron Logan found some guy cooking meth in the cemetery, but there was no date. I think it was several years prior to the murders. Welcome back, Mike the Mad. What about PB, orange truck guy? The truck was in the graveyard overnight and all that next day. The bodies were found directly in front of the graveyard if you keep walking through the woods. Yeah, obviously people have found this suspicious, including the rumor that he lost his keys. So it could be possible if he was the killer that something happened during the struggle or him just walking, he lost his keys in the woods. Obviously, it's extremely difficult to find keys in the woods when there's a bunch of leaves around. But apparently, Libby's grandmother, Becky Patty, asked PB's wife if that was a true rumor about losing his keys, and she said no. Give me a second. Oh my God. Thank you, Mary Beth. Yeah, his age rules him out for me. I'm not sure who you're talking about. I think Ron Logan sounds like the killer in my opinion, but obviously he is not the killer. Yeah, I think Ron's voice sounds way too old to be the killer. And what I was thinking is Ron owned that property for 53 years. So if he hated kids being around, wouldn't there be rumors over the prior 5 decades that he was like harassing kids? Yeah, so PB apparently went to Ron. PB lives somewhat near the bridge. I think maybe like a 5-minute drive. And so he knew Ron Logan, and I guess at 6:30 p.m. on the 13th, he asked Ron if they could search their property. Because I know there was a Facebook page. Some woman posted that the girls were missing and asked for help to search. Ron Logan seems like he would have been caught if it was him, since it was his property they were found on. Yeah, I mean, the police looked into him years ago and they did not find any evidence. The language they use on that search warrant is non-exclusionary. It's written that way to obtain the warrant. They would say that about any male voice they might list to obtain a warrant. Yes, I agree. They kind of, any warrant I've read, they kind of push the truth a little bit. PB did not lose his key, nor did he ever say that made up rumor. Do you know if he ever left the cemetery the night of the 13th? Because we obviously see the helicopter footage shows his truck in the back there, but obviously a bunch of other people pulled into the cemetery that night. So was he truly trapped in the corner there and he couldn't drive away? True Crime Maria loves Gray Hughes. Yeah, I have nothing against him. I found some of his videos very helpful when I was doing my research. It wasn't Ron, but Ron was friends with suspects like the Kurtz and Sandefers. Yeah, We definitely saw, if you've done your research, you saw that Garrett Kurtz, his dad was friends with Ron since they were kids. But I kind of ruled out Garrett Kurtz, even though he's a horrible person. Ron did not live there his whole life. They say things they usually wrong because they're intellectually lazy. Well, he did own that property since he was 24 years old. He was 77 at the time of the murders, and they said at the time that he owned it for the prior 53 years. Ron sounds more like Mr. Burns than Bridge Guy. Bridge Guy definitely is not 77 years old. It by no means indicates there's any evidence it is his voice, just that it can't be excluded at the time it was written. It's odd to park at the cemetery, walk to Ron Logan's. More odd is why start there, nowhere near the bridge, and definitely not on the south side. Well, I mean, the thing to me is, I mean, obviously the cemetery would be the best way for anybody to escape if they were planning some kind of abduction or something, but why are the police asking for a car at CPS from noon to 5? And why until 5 o'clock if the murders were done at least by 2:30? And then I think there's a witness who saw, I don't know if it was flannel shirt guy or the arguing couple guy who saw the bridge guy walking toward Freedom Bridge. And if it was Ron Logan, why is he hanging around Freedom Bridge? And why are the people who saw Bridge Guy not saying, oh, yeah, I saw Ron Logan, the guy that's on the TV? It's either a trucker or someone related to the Kleins. Yeah, I mean, that's in some aspect, I'm thinking, is this a totally random person not from this area? And that's why nobody recognizes the way he looks or the way he talks. I get the sense it will be solved, that they know more than they are saying, but it's extremely frustrating having seen that video, never being able to put a name and face to BG. Yeah, I agree. And I'm really curious what evidence they have that Tony Klein is involved and why in 2020 were they trying to get Kagan to implicate his dad. Hi, Lynn. Thanks for joining. Do we know if the girls were using any of the apps like Kik and Whisper that don't keep messages stored? Yeah, I believe Libby was on Instagram, Kik, and Snap. Yeah, I showed in my video that she was on Kik. And I did not say this in my video because I didn't want it to be too rude, but her Twitter picture from when she was like 11 or 12 or something, it looks like she's lying on the end of a bed. And I'm not criticizing her, but if I had a daughter and she was posting that, it was just inappropriate. And it's like, I'm sure other guys other than Kagan who would have seen that would have tried to contact her. And I said last night, if Libby was looking for a boyfriend and Anthony Schatz was able to start communicating with her, I imagine she was talking to other guys online, either teenagers or guys who were catfishing her. So I don't know if she told somebody else that they hung out at the bridge, or maybe even a few days earlier, she was saying, oh, what are you doing this weekend? We might go to the bridge sometime this weekend. And that guy, the killer, did he show up every day waiting for them? I don't know. Or waiting for her and not expecting her to bring somebody else. Yeah, yesterday somebody was saying Christopher Belter. I looked real quick and I'm not sure that he is a good suspect, to be honest. PB did not lose his keys, nor did he even claim that. He was blocked in by law enforcement. That's all. People online made up the keys rumor. I'm just going through the comments. Yeah, someone said staging posing is very rare, but Garrett Kurtz did that to Ray Han. Yeah, Ray Hanish. Yeah, Garrett killed this other guy and tried to make it look like it was something else. And he killed that woman, Nicole Bowen. He said he was on drugs a lot, but the police have his DNA from his murder, and he admitted to Nicole Bowen, so why not admit to the girls too? Sorry, I'm like 15 minutes behind in the comments. If I watch that BG video any harder, my eyes are going to pop out. Yeah, I've seen it probably close to 1,000 times. And I'm sure a lot of you two have also. Fanny pack is for Tony Klein to carry diabetic supplies. Maybe he always keeps it with him. Yeah, so he does have diabetes, and I know he posted on Facebook that he's recently been having foot problems. I think some people speculated that he either got his toes amputated or his feet or foot amputated. He has not posted on Facebook since mid-February of this year, where previously he was posting all the time. He used to love to post selfies. Yeah, like I said, I'm not positive those are holes in the jeans, but I could not do a video and not point out what I was seeing or I thought could be a possibility. Garrett Kurtz wears ripped jeans. Yeah, I looked on his Facebook and stuff, and to me, like I said in my video, finding a picture of somebody who had exact holes or this white mark in this exact position would be obviously a decent way to identify the killer, but it hasn't happened yet. Hi, Marshall. Thanks for coming back. A podcast found a search warrant. It wasn't intentionally released, correct? My thoughts on outfit. Left home super early when cold. Maybe even a different state with colder climate. Works in freezer or outside. Wanted layers to remove. Yeah, it's like, did the killer have signature items? We were talking about that yesterday because the former prosecutor said there were signatures at the crime scene, and it was an odd crime scene. I forget his exact wording, but are there objects in the killer's jacket that they specifically left at the crime scene that they were planning to leave there? And I was saying, if there are certain unique objects at the crime scene, why would police not obviously not show a picture of it from the crime scene, but show the exact object cleaned up or something from an ad and saying, does anybody know a man who had access to this object? I think the cops made it clear she videoed him on purpose. That seemed clear to them from the full video. Yeah. Some people online speculate that the killer maybe showed them a gun and that's how he controlled them, and that is on the video. Kagan and Tony are unlikely to be in the same jail or unit, even if they go to the big house. Well, if they lived in the same town and committed the same crime, I don't know. I assume that they would be in the same jail. Hi, Fig Solves. Thanks for joining. Makes no sense for Kagan or Tony to leave Libby's phone at the scene. Someone mentioned last stream that Disney NASA did something with the footage. What was that about? Some people speculated that the police sent it to them to maybe make it more clear because it was so far away. I think they were 60 feet away from the killer. Libby either had an iPhone 5 or 6, and the resolution obviously wasn't great. The phone is an odd issue. Why wasn't the phone taken? It stated it was found in the general area of the bodies. This also seems odd. Yeah, and it seemed like the family was calling her and it was not going to voicemail at first. I guess her dad called her, Libby's dad called as he was driving to the bridge to say, okay, I'm coming to get you. And then later, I guess at 5:30 is when her phone started going to voicemail, which is when they think, I guess the battery died. Do they have Bridge Guy's DNA? I think they have some kind of touch DNA or something, but obviously it has not matched up to anybody in any kind of DNA database yet. I don't know if they're trying that genealogy stuff where you can try and find relatives like they did with the Golden State Killer. So she gives her address to Anthony Schatz after she knew he was into her friend or her friend was into him and was supposed to meet up. Well, the girl thought she was talking to Anthony Schatz and her parents would not get home until later. So I guess she gave the address to meet Anthony Schatz at her house. Tom, you are not seriously studying the evidence in the 1.8-second video, which is the only witness of the killer. Yeah, it's so confusing as to why they waited on this Anthony Schatz Klein stuff for so long. Can't wrap my head around it. Yeah, I mean, it's like, and why did they let Kagan free for 3.5 years when they knew he had like hundreds of pictures of these girls and could continue doing that? Did Kagan trade or sell any of the pictures that he got from the various young girls he would catfish? Well, apparently he had a Dropbox that the police think he was exchanging videos. I don't know if he was charging people money for it or if he was just trading stuff. Could Kagan have told a client, an associate or friend who was also into CP about his meeting with Libby? Yeah, I mean, I guess so. But what I was thinking is, like I said, he talked to hundreds of girls. Why are no other girls saying that something similar happened to them? I know there's that one Kayla girl, but it seemed in general he was not sharing this information. Garrett Kurt's phone pinged in Delphi. Anyone know who Garrett Kurtz tried to pick up, a 14-year-old? Yeah, I remember some kind of rumor that I guess he was made some online comment about hooking up with a 14-year-old, or that was also Cody. I think somebody said that he posted something similar to that. Garrett Kurtz got yelled at by a mom on Facebook for trying to hit on her 14-year-old daughter. Someone could have cloned Anthony Schatz too. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that technology. I lost somebody's respect. Good night. Gossip? Give credence to AG setting GK on Libby out of jealousy. Wonder if Garrett Kurtz and or a meth crew transients squatting at Weber home while they were off season out of state. Yeah, I'm not sure. But we were talking yesterday, if it's a homeless person, is he sleeping outside when it's 28 degrees, or is he in a car overnight, or what? Hi, thank you. Apparently, Gray Hughes affectations doesn't. What if this was not their first murder? Ted Bundy was killing multiple people per night by the end of his run, let alone a week apart. Yeah, I mean, you never know. These people are obviously crazy. Garrett Kurtz is a disorganized killer. His DNA was all over his victim, and he was methed out. That's very different than what we see with these murders, correct? I love her sister, Kelsey, but I believe her sister has ruined this case because she swore it was not an internet thing this whole time, which is sad because she did not mean to do harm, but did. Well, I don't know if that's true because the police are doing their own investigation separate from what we know. So I don't know that that's true, that what Kelsey says in public, that the police are not, like, they're not following what she says. They searched all of Libby's stuff and Abby's. Why was PB the only civilian car parked in the graveyard? Seems very odd. I'm not saying he's BG, but he should be looked into better. There's probably a reason he was blocked in by law enforcement because it's shady. Well, I think, like I said, his wife may have seen the Facebook post, and I think she knew Becky Patty, Libby's mom or grandma. So it does make sense that he would have been one of the first people to go park over by the cemetery, to me at least. I say many people in that part of America have similar genes. They seem pretty standard, not ultra trendy, but just practical. I squint so hard and still can't tell if it's holes in the jeans or just reflections, moving shadows because the video is so far away. Yeah, I agree. I think the Jennifer Kess case would be perfect for your mind. I think only someone like you can make any headway. Would you consider looking into it? I looked at one video. I think Ira, actually, you may have said you don't think it was the construction guys, but to me, that makes the most sense. But I only watched like, I don't know, 15 minutes. If he was in a hurry and it was fast, why take the time to stage, to take pics or just to prove a point? Scratching my head. Yeah, I mean, well, none of us know how they were staged. I saw something online, but I don't know that it was true. I doubt it was. Like I was saying yesterday, I'm really surprised that with so many police officers working on this, they really have not leaked that much sensitive information, which I applaud them. I remember seeing an interview with Kelsey, and she said law enforcement came to her campus numerous times and took blood samples more than once. Why do you think that would be? Why more than once? They took Kelsey's blood samples? So the video is 43 seconds. Is there more talking on it? Yes, I'm almost certain there is. There has to be. But what the killer and the girls say, we don't know. If I lived in the area, I'd be hanging out at that area watching for someone who walks and looks like or looks similar to a bridge guy. Any locals here who have done that? Robert Ives said non-secular signatures left at the scene. Yeah, I was actually surprised that Robert Ives gave an interview and revealed some of that information that seemed kind of confidential. Staging to throw off the popo. The statement in the FBI search warrant, LB and AW did not appear to have defensive wounds, was there to answer the obvious question a judge might ask, why Ron Logan didn't have obvious cuts and bruises. Yeah, I was surprised to see that they did not have defensive wounds. People obviously for years have heard this statement that Libby fought like hell, I guess trying to protect Abby. And it's curious, how did this person kill them where they don't have any defensive wounds? How did they kill two girls without them screaming? I don't know. Did he have a gun, tell them to turn around? Did he use a rope or something to tie their hands behind them? I don't know. And then took it off before he left? I think Libby was a typical teenager and had a secret online life. I agree with you. Gray is too close to Kelsey, so for years he wouldn't listen to anything but what she had to say, which was the wrong direction. I don't fault Kelsey for anything. Let's see. Weird it was not smashed. We don't know if her phone was smashed or not. She maybe threw the phone mid-attack. The phone was found on the Mears property near the creek. So I guess at some point as you go west, it goes from Ron Logan's property to the Mears. Maybe the killer got mad that she filmed him and she threw the phone. Possibly. And why was her one sneaker found on the south side of the bridge? Like I said in my video, I don't know if she kicked him at some point or he grabbed her foot and it came off then. Or if on the other side of the bridge, he maybe got her her shoe and threw it on the other side for some reason. The killer did not take the phone because they could ping the phone. It would track his movements. It's likely he smashed it. Why would he need to possess it? I agree with that. Hold on. It's sickening how the Kleins have been handled. I don't know what you mean, in which way. Yeah, Ron Logan died of COVID in January of this year. Thank you, but I'm 0 for 2 so far on trying to solve cold cases. Does anyone here that lives in the US think Bridge Guy has an accent? Yeah, I've seen people online. Some people think it's a Southern accent or something. Or Midwest. Kagan and Tony are being questioned for a reason. Yeah, but why did police? I saw something online. I think that the Indiana media guy for the police, his name was Kim. I think he retired. But at one point, I think he gave a newspaper interview and he said that they were cleared early on. Libby's dad was in trouble with drug dealers and was a drug dealer. Yeah, I read about that. It could be a possibility. Homeless person could have been sleeping in a barn or that shack. Do you mean Ron Logan's barn? Could it be a Purdue University student who's the killer? To me, that voice sounds older than 30 at least. I know some younger guys have deeper voices, but it does not look like the second sketch to me, nor does it sound like somebody younger. This murder was not very organized. Well, he did get away with it for 5 years. Does anyone know who was murdered first? I don't even know if the police know that. Somebody thinks the killer will never be found. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do after 5 years. That's different from what they've already done that's gonna solve this. Hi, Sassy. Although maybe you came here like 15 minutes ago. Um, it's not a homeless person. Does anyone think it's a little strange that Libby's father has never come out and said anything about his daughter or finding the killer? I do a little bit. I'm not saying that he's involved, but I don't know. Obviously, he's had some drug issues and maybe he feels some kind of guilt. I don't know. And some people just don't want to be on TV and stuff. Family has said they don't have all the information police have, therefore, what they say publicly may well be incorrect. They shouldn't be blamed. Can we talk about Tobe Lesenby's thighs? If the jeans don't fit, you must have quit. Yeah, I don't think it's Tobe, although, hold on. Why am I doing this? I hope you guys are enjoying this. Let's see. So like I've said previously, the face here looks like a younger guy. Then you come back here 1 second earlier. To me, that does kind of look like Tobe's mustache. But what I showed in my video, I don't think his thighs are that thin. I think I said no offense or something. I said he's only hiding cellulite under his jacket. I forgot that I said that. No offense. Sometimes I say no offense and then I say something offensive. She didn't delete anything from Libby's phone. She didn't have Libby's phone, nor access to Libby's accounts. She deleted some apps that track location after submitting to law enforcement. No, it's not strange at all. He is a very private person. You think it's not solved because it was a brilliantly planned murder or because law enforcement effed up or they're covering up. I don't think they're covering up. I mean, they've spent so much money and time to try and solve this. They don't want to look like idiots. And I don't know if it was planned or not, but like I said, as you look at this person on the bridge, they have a bunch of stuff in their jacket. So it's like, who walks around with all this stuff in their jacket if they're not planning to do something, either kidnap or what? Steve from True Crime Web, a retired law enforcement CSI detective, made an excellent point about the Ron Logan search warrant having a typo in it when describing the struggle part. Not was a typo. So you think there were signs of a struggle? I'll have to look back at that again. I think BG's voice is well modulated and controlled. He may have had experience or some voice training for public speaking, in my opinion. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. I'm not trying to beat up on the father, but there comes a time in life when you have to stand up for certain things. And I believe this is one of those times. Well, I mean, what good is gonna come from him doing an interview? Is it gonna solve the case? I don't know that it would. He's never seen a search warrant that would put no signs of struggle, as that doesn't lead to them getting the search warrant approved. And very next line is about things you would see in a struggle. Thank you, Stacy. I'll trust someone who has seen hundreds of search warrants over my own opinion. Yeah, I'm not very knowledgeable about this stuff either. To say that there's a typo rather than examining the crime using what is in black and white, like he said, he wouldn't write no sign of break-in wrong again because it's a sign of staging. Getting away with murder doesn't mean it was because the killer is smart. I agree. I always thought Ron died shortly after the murders. Was there another person connected to the case who did, or am I getting confused with another case? Ron went to jail about a month and a half or so after the murders, or 2 months after. Ira thinks it will be solved through genealogy DNA. Yeah, I don't know how much DNA they have, though. How does this killer get away in this day and age, plus with the murder all but filmed? I don't know. Is he not local to this area and nobody recognizes him? Lots of signatures, but have not found a similar crime in databases. Interesting. If Libby's dad went public, the public would shred him for his past. Imagine the nasty things that would be said, disgusting things. He owes we, the public, nothing. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, you don't have to be giving interviews. Doug Carter is the superintendent. He's not actually an investigator. He briefs with them and is a voice to the public, not an investigator. Go look at the press conference when Doug Carter says the killer could be in this room. The more Doug Carter talked, the redder Tobe's face got. Seriously, check it out. Well, I think at that point it had been 2 years and Tobe's colleagues had not been able to solve the case, so maybe he was upset about that. I just wonder if BG is actual killer. The police have said the person on the bridge is the person who spoke on the video, and they believe this is the killer. Pretty easy to see that's not Ron Logan in that video. Yeah, that's what I think. New eyes on the case. Georgia Bureau of Investigation was invited to go over everything a while back. GBI has lots of experience. Yeah, obviously, I mean, Robert Ives said there had been murders in this area before, but usually romantic motive or drug motive, not somebody killing two girls. Who knows what the stuff in his jacket is for? I don't know, but how often do you see somebody walking around looking like this? He was up to something. I heard that the girls were staged in a kneeling position and there may have been crosses or a Bible. Is this true? As I've only heard it once and I know you will know the answer. I do not know the answer. And like I said, the police have not really divulged anything, so I would assume anything is just a rumor. I believe law enforcement has a good idea who it is. Too many people are invested and one believes in the spirit of higher power can call on it and reel him in. Yeah, it seems like Doug Carter was like, we only need one piece of evidence or one tip, but what does that mean? Oh yeah, so the person you may be thinking about is, I don't think his last name is Eggers, it was something else, but he kind of, I don't know, he got shot or something. He killed himself when the police were looking for him for a different crime. If the girls were killed fast and feverish, maybe the killer was on drugs. What are the odds one or two creeps are going to meet Libby there, but then some random psycho shows up? Just seems too far-fetched. The Kleins or an associate of theirs seems most likely. Yeah, well, hopefully we're going to find out something soon because I know there was a news story. Well, Kagan in his interview said his dad's house was raided again 3 Fridays prior, which I looked on a calendar and that would have been Friday, November 19th, 2021. And his dad has not been speaking to him since then. So why would police raid Tony's house? The guy on the neighbor on the news said they took his dog also. And I know in the Ron Logan warrant, they referenced hairs and fibers. So was animal hairs found at the scene? I said yesterday that Becky Patty, Lib's grandmother, said the day of the murders, the afternoon, Libby, they had a new puppy and Libby was petting the puppy. So I don't know if some of that dog hair got on Libby, but I'm sure the police know that they had a new puppy. Releasing the murder weapon and as much details as they could about the killer would not have compromised the case, but could have led to the killer. It's too late unless they have a solid DNA and match it. Bridge guy does not look homeless to me. Maybe it was KK hatred for women because he was rejected even by his mother, something to consider. Well, then how did he get to the bridge? And is this him on the bridge? And why is his phone pinging in Peru? Searching for stuff on the phone. Kagan wasn't necessarily rejected by his mom. She seems to have stayed in the marriage a long time, and I think Kagan, did live with her at times. He said he married her for her second. He was the minister for her second marriage in 2018. He has preferred to be with his dad. Although I saw something where the mom apparently said she's ashamed that she birthed him after this CSAM stuff came out. Let's start from the point that the killer did not know he was being videotaped. Yeah, I think Libby was maybe sitting at the end of the bridge while Abby was standing as this guy was walking towards them. And maybe Libby was on her phone looking at Snapchat, and at some point she clicked video as her phone was kind of like on the side of her right leg. But I don't know at what point she would have clicked stop. And would the killer have heard the noise that an iPhone makes when you stop taking video? Is the killer wearing a beret? The girl on the trail said he's wearing a painter's hat. And every picture that I've seen of Kagan, he's wearing a large brimmed, like, sports baseball hat. Obviously, some people think it's a hoodie, and some people think it's just hair on the top. Like here, to me, it looks like a sideways baseball hat, or it could be a painter's hat. And then here, it looks like it could be a hoodie. I mean, it changes throughout. Hi, Cheryl. Thank you. I appreciate it. Do people still believe Kagan Klein had something to do with the murders? Apparently, some people do, but after reading his interview, I'm curious to know why people or the police think it's his dad. It doesn't really matter what he is wearing, is my point. He didn't know he was going to be on video. Yeah, obviously he didn't think he was going to be videotaped or audio taped. Kagan could have left the phone with a friend. True, but do you think that's Kagan that we're looking at right now on the screen? Does Snapchat's record feature time out after a certain length of time? I've never used it. I'm not sure, to be honest. Kagan could have gotten a ride and left his phone at home of the driver who lived near Country Club Road in Peru, but then Kagan's ride would need to be at correct location at certain time. Too much coordination, just my opinion. Bridge guy looks 40 or over. I think perhaps someone he let use that Facebook account did it. I don't know that he was corresponding with Libby on Facebook or the other girl. I think he said he preferred to meet girls on Instagram, then go over to Snapchat. Hi, Joe. Thank you. I heard that online, but I'm not sure if it's true or not. And like I said before, why would they be raiding Tony's house like 5 years later? What are they going to find? And I'm curious to know if they looked at Tony's phone on February 25th. And why was Kagan's main phone not turned over then, and then it magically shows up when he gets home from his police interview? Painter's hat. That goes with my theory of the rips in the pants being paint contractor rip slits from kneeling on carpet sanding baseboards. It's amazing that not one person has come forward to say, hey, that looks like someone I know. Actually, I think there was one guy. I'm sure some people did, and I'm sure the police looked into everybody, but obviously it never led to an arrest. I've always thought this case was a catfish gone wrong. Yeah, even when I first started looking into this a little over a year ago, all the stuff that I saw was like they said it was not, and in the back of my mind, I was thinking, "Are you sure?" But I kind of really didn't look into it much because it seemed like the police did not think it was. It's reasonable to believe the Kleins have some involvement, but maybe indirectly through internet dealings, in my opinion. Definitely not Kagan on the screen. I am shocked that BG did not find the phone. Abby must have dropped it, so he did not see it. It was Libby's phone. So did someone get as under the bridge after the murder? AS, Anthony Shots? I don't know exactly what that question is, sorry. If it turns out to be Kagan, law enforcement are going to catch absolute wrath for leaving him free for 3 years, so maybe they're sure it is not. Well, in his interview, they said, "We don't think it was you." And it seems like they want to get him to say it was his dad. He looks 43 to 50 to me. Yeah, the guy on the screen right now, I would say early 20s to late 30s, but like I said, as you go to different frames, it looks even older. Yeah, it's too pixelated to tell. I'm kind of seeing a beanie, which I've never thought it was before. Could be any type of hat, to be honest. Very frustrating. Yeah. Well, if a girl on the trail says it's a painter's hat, I would go with that instead of trying to figure out this pixelated video. Where is Tony Klein now? Still in Peru? The cop car in Hoe Street isn't watching him. The cop lives on the street. As far as I know he was in the hospital for a few weeks and maybe even physical therapy for up to a month, maybe earlier this year. So I don't know if he's working or what. What was the weather that day? It had snowed a few days prior. Online, it said it only got up to 42 degrees, and I said that was still cold, but people who are local said they would think it was hot. But that creek must have been very cold in February after the snow melted. I strongly believe this is a transient serial killer, someone who has some knowledge of the area but moves around a lot. Or a backward baseball cap with a tuft of reddish brown hair, auburn, poking through the front. Yeah, I mean, if somebody on the trail said this person has reddish brown hair, I would go with that. And Tony and Kagan do not have that. And Tony does not have long hair in the front. The killer's pants legs are too long, scrunched up from ankle to knee. If he really dressed like that, if he really dressed that way for outdoor work or sports, too long pants legs are a risk. So are these his clothes or not? Yeah, I'm not sure. Looks like every dude in Indiana over 30. Yeah, I've read that before. I think Kagan was selling pics. Maybe the wrong person got their hands on it. Can you imagine being a young girl thinking you're getting Justin Bieber and Klein shows up? Scary world, get your kids off the internet. Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously, we don't know for sure that Libby was expecting any kind of guy to show up. But if she was expecting Anthony Shots and she sees this guy walking down the bridge who is not Anthony Shots, that's a good reason why she would start to video record. It was originally called the Snapchat Murders. That to me suggests that the killing had some indirect or direct relations to Snapchat. Libby's video being number one, now finding correspondence with Anthony Shots. At first, I think it was because the last two photos that Libby posted were on Snapchat. The one was of the bridge before they crossed it. And the second one was, I think, at 2:07 was when it was uploaded. And it showed Abby on the bridge. So that's why I think initially it was called the Snapchat Murders. Maybe this is some revenge against the father of the girls, someone who is tricking the dad, dropping them off. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure the police asked Derek, Libby's dad, who would be mad at him. And I think there's some rumors online that I don't remember the facts, but something where, what was her name? The girlfriend of Garrett Kurtz, Angela or Ashley Garth. Something about her having a kid and Libby's dad maybe reported her as being a bad mom or something. I don't know. So people thought maybe there was some kind of revenge factor there, but I'm not sure about those facts. So, but it was something similar to that. I recall hearing about some witnesses reporting a hat that looked like a painter's hat. Was that what was his name? Bitter Beat Poet on Reddit who shared that info? I do definitely know that some people said it was a painter's hat, a local witness. What did their dad do for a living? I think Becky Patty is into some kind of appraisals of houses. And I think on that day, on the 13th, Libby's dad went to appraise a house or something. I'm not sure though. Are Kagan and Tony the only Klein's males available? I know Tony Klein's dad died, I think this past February, but he does not match the guy on the bridge. Did it rain the night of the 13th? I don't think so. I think some people mentioned fog, but they did not mention rain. If you look really close, you can see his right hand has a glove on it, and it is out of the pocket. Most people think his hands are in his pockets, but that's just an illusion. If I'm being honest, I only see lighter skin at the end of the blue jacket, George. I don't know for sure, but that's just my honest view of what I'm seeing. I definitely think this had a sexual MO as opposed to any type of vendetta killing or random. Eyewitness accounts are so untrustworthy, though. I'd rather rely on crappy footage than eyewitness memory. Yeah, I mean, I've actually tried to look at people walking on the street very quick, and a few seconds later, it's like, how would I describe that person? I really don't remember what they look like. But a girl who's 5'6" would know if some guy is 5'6", 5'7" compared to 6 foot or 6'1", and if he had reddish hair coming out compared to being bald or something. And I believe she said he did not have blue eyes, which I don't know how somebody really knows that, but the killer's jacket looks like it's turned inside out. Yeah, I've heard people talk about that. I'm not sure. And it's like, as you can see on the screen now, it looks like it's open and maybe is the zipper messed up. But as I go through the video, is that just more pixelation? Because here, I mean, there it closes, like there it closes. So that hole changes. So is it not? I mean, that's not great. So there it doesn't look like it's totally open, but then you go there, I don't know, maybe as he's moving, the gap is getting bigger. Hi, thank you for your donation. And thank you everybody for joining. We're at 106 people, almost 2 hours. I'll go another hour if you guys want me to. Arizona jeans from JCPenney. Yeah, like I was saying, looking at Tony Klein and Kagan's pictures, they never wear this stuff. I never saw a picture of Tony Klein wearing any kind of jeans. He wears shorts or black sweatpants or some camo pants. And Kagan, he did wear jeans in one picture, but most of the time he also wears those long shorts, even if it's kind of cold outside. It's pretty obvious he's holding a handgun up under the hem of the jacket, not in his pocket. Yeah, I mean, I think especially as we're looking on the left-hand side, that hand is further out of the pocket. So I don't know if he's holding a gun or about to show them or what. So why is he thinking at this point, I need a gun to control these girls? Like, what was he planning to do? And is that white thing under his chin a rope to tie them up somehow? What other males are involved or friends with the Kleins? I don't know. Would you want to be friends with them? I know people were talking about so the Kleins went to Vegas February 21st to the 25th. It seemed to be like a pre-planned trip because I looked at Tony's Facebook and it seemed like every year he would go to Vegas for some car trip, which kind of correlates to the interview of Kagan. First of all, he's such an idiot. They asked him something about a Ferrari or something, and he replied to the law enforcement, I have a Ferrari. It's like, no, Anthony Schatz posted a picture of a Ferrari. You don't have a Ferrari. You said you can't even drive because of your seizures. So at one point in the interview with Kagan, they said something like, you're not a car guy. It seemed to me like they were insinuating that they know that Tony is a car guy. I have an idea. BG's jacket could be turned inside out. Maybe he entered in a blue jacket and left in a brown hoodie, for instance. Yeah, I mean, if somebody plans something and you think, I don't know, you might be committing a murder and you're expecting to get blood on it yourself, would you kind of turn something inside out? But then, I don't know. I would be curious to know if whoever saw this guy leaving, did he have all this stuff still in his jacket, or were there things left at the scene that could have been in this jacket? Brazen to kill 2 girls in the middle of the day. I mean, that's just unbelievable. Yeah, I know, especially like this is a fairly popular area, although it is a Monday afternoon, but a lot of the kids were off. So this guy has to be a narcissist. You think he can get away with anything, no fear? Must not be the case, but I think they were probably stalked when their dad dropped them off, hence why they were creeped out by the guy. They were actually dropped off by Libby's sister, Kelsey. The dad picked them up. If you look at Kagan's pictures, I'm pretty sure he's left-handed. I remember talk about the suspect being left-handed. Those are made-up rumors about Derek German snitching or getting Ashley Garth's kids taken away. All made-up rumors. All right, thank you, Maria. No one goes out for a hike in Indiana after a snow. People hunker down. Well, the snow I saw, which if you saw my video, I showed some screen captures of that building at Meatpackers that was being built, the webcam where they took a snapshot every 12 minutes. And that was why I showed that kind of suspicious truck that was there, I guess from 1:30 to 3 something. I think the snow was around February 8th. And so, or 9th, I don't know. It was a few days earlier, but it melted. a few days prior. Left-handed, he packs right. So you think the bridge guy we're looking at, his hand on the left screen, which is his right hand, is higher. So he would be holding a gun in his right hand. Let's see. Garrett Kurtz was friends with and possibly dated Libby's cousin. Yeah, I was reading Kagan's interview, and the police said, we know on Facebook that your girlfriend is friends with Libby's ex-boyfriend. So who was Libby dating when she was 13 or 14? And it also said, we know your dad is Facebook friends with Abby's mom's friends. But people said Tony Klein would Facebook friend a lot of females. You're welcome, Shauna. I just don't want to be on camera. People assume it was sexually motivated, but what if the main motive was to take out witnesses? Yeah, I mean, but what were they witnesses about? Somebody yesterday was saying Libby was supposed to testify in a trial. I had never heard that before. And why is a 14-year-old girl testifying in a trial? And was this somebody, like I said, who had been communicating with Libby, and they wanted to kill her because she was going to maybe tell on them for being an older guy catfishing her? I don't know. Kagan has a photo of himself in front of a sports car. Actually, so does Tony. Tony has a lot of pictures with cars. 3,000 people and not community, and the sheriff comes out and says, you have nothing to worry about. Everyone is safe, but parents can make that decision unreal. I know, it's like, why would you say, don't be worried? Correct. So I don't remember exactly what they did. Apparently they woke up, had breakfast, and they were doing stuff around the house. I think they were going to paint something. They helped Libby's grandmother with some kind of filing. And at some point, Libby said, can we go to the bridge? And some people said, well, it seemed like a last minute thing that they wanted to go to the bridge, which went against the idea that Libby had planned to meet somebody at the bridge. But from what I saw on a map, they didn't live that far away where they couldn't walk there. I don't know if it was like maybe a 30-minute walk. I don't know. So I'm not convinced that Libby did not tell Anthony Schatz or some other person she was chatting online that we might go to the bridge today. I was thinking Levi's 550 or 569 old guy jeans. People's memories fade and evidence gets lost over time. I'm shocked the law enforcement never realized their best course is to reach out to the public with as much info as they can at the very beginning. It was the same brazen daylight crime in Evansdale. I know, yeah, we were talking about the similarities yesterday, but I'm not that familiar with Evansdale. That was a rumor. Libby was going to the police about something. I understand the police have to keep something secret, but it seems like they're not sharing nearly enough to get the community's help. Well, I mean, they've shown this video of the guy and his voice, and people still have not been able to figure it out. Kagan said his dad fixed cars and sold them. Yeah. So online, it looked like Tony had a motorcycle, a truck, and a black hot rod in his garage. So if police have some kind of video from across the street of CPS, Does it show a truck? They said they're looking for the driver of a car parked on the east side of 300, which is actually across the road from on the right side of the CPS parking lot, which that's kind of confusing to me. The fact that the Kleins have been looked into since 2017 and never charged should tell us all something. What is that something? Why are they still looking at Tony, though? And why would they not arrest him already? I don't know. It's confusing to me. I'm looking forward to some kind of Tony Klein charges coming up soon. But obviously, I have no idea. I think he packs his genes to the right the way left-handed men do. Right-handed men go to the left, but yes, I think knife in left, his good hand, and gun in right. Tony lives right next door to a garage tire shop. Tony could have had a different car many times, being that he fixed them up for money. He seemed to post them all on his Facebook, though. I don't know if he later deleted anything. And talking about Facebook, Kagan posted that he started a casino job on February 12th, 2017, the day before the murders, but he like backdated it months later. So why is he doing that? It's obviously suspicious. Could it be Bridge Guy has photography equipment in the jacket? Maybe he takes pics for Car and Driver magazine and met up with the Kleins. I don't know that I'd go that far to say that he's working for Car and Driver magazine, but yeah, I don't know if there's any evidence that this person took a video or photo. People suggested that maybe Kagan or the Kleins posted this on the dark web, like a video. But even if it's on the dark web, I would think in reference to like the murder scene, somebody would have had to tell the police that that's on the dark web. Isn't it true there is more audio available? Yes, there is. It's the rumor was she told someone she planned to go, had appointments supposedly, but grandma said she knew nothing and Tobe said neither did he. Interesting, they did not mention Libby's side of the Instagram messages to AS account to Kagan in the interview. It's strange. Why do you think that is? I don't know. And I'm curious to know, because I don't know if some people know this, but apparently the night of the 13th, Kelsey got access to Libby's Instagram and saw that Anthony Schatz was the most, or at least one of the most recent messages. And she and Kagan were exchanging messages. I guess she said, do you have any idea where Libby is? And obviously he said no, but one of the things that drives me crazy about him, which is there's a lot, he acts like he doesn't know Libby's name. He's like, that girl. It's like if you and your dad are being accused of murdering a girl, wouldn't you remember her name? He drives me crazy. I think the voice sounds a lot like Kagan, but I think Tony killed them. What do you think the motive is, though? Were they planning a sexual assault of just Libby or Libby and Abby? Or they got mad that Libby brought a friend or what? They could walk easily to Anna's house, Libby's mom. It was about 8 kilometers to the Germans. I think there's way too much info out there about crime scene that law enforcement is now keeping that audio close to chest to only identify the killer that way. Libby had her own photography account on Instagram too. Driving a truck, every guy in Indiana. Tells us they don't have enough to go to trial, I guess, for the Kleins you're talking about. Given that Tony was peeping and lurking in high school, what other crimes could he have done leading up to 2017 that fit the progression? Any solved crimes in that period? Yeah, that's a good point. I know that so in Kagan's interview, it was kind of weird because all of a sudden, like out of the blue, the police said, "What if I told you a story?" I'm not going to get this right, but it's something similar to this, where a father, I don't know how much. So the real story is Tony's stepson was in third grade. He backed up the toilet. Tony got mad, dunked the kid's head in the toilet. He like broke his eye socket or something. The mom comes to help. Tony starts beating her up. I think he bit the mom, his wife, in the stomach. The kid ran out. He got help on the street, and Tony, I think, was charged, but he only went to jail on the weekends or something. So it was kind of weird that the police said that all out of the blue. It's like Kagan seemed to not be aware of that story, but he was very young at the time. So I don't know. I think some people suggested that maybe the crime scene had some kind of stomach marks that could match up with Tony Klein biting his ex-wife. Did the killer walk past them and then come back again? Hence why Libby started filming. It could be, but it seems like so. Libby uploaded the Instagram picture of Abby at 2:07. Police have said that the interaction as this killer is coming to meet them is at 2:13. So that's 6 minutes. I mean, yeah, I'm not sure what the answer is to that. The bridge is quite long for him to follow the girls and have both ends clear as pure luck. He likely knew the area and had the route planned for any victim. I feel he came prepared and got lucky. Yeah, I think it was if he planned this, either knowing he was looking for any kind of young girls or specifically Libby or Abby and Libby, sitting on that bench is the perfect place to know if some people have come back from the bridge or where everybody is in relation to where he wants to do his plan. Kagan's 13th new job in Las Vegas. Yeah, I mean, he's ridiculous. I believe Bridge Guy was trying to get the girls across the creek and to the cemetery. If he had transportation parked in the cemetery, I do not think he had any reason to get back to the trail. But against that is, why did a girl see the killer around Freedom Bridge around 1:30? And somebody, I don't know if it was arguing couple guy, he said he saw the killer walking back towards Freedom Bridge. So if somebody had a car parked at the cemetery, it seems unlikely that they would be seen on these other parts of the trail. Kagan was told he was the last one to communicate with Libby before the murder, correct? I think they know exactly who did it, but they cannot prove it beyond reasonable doubt. The problem with the DNA is they have a father-son who live together and are each other's alibi. Yeah, that's a decent point. But it's going to be weird if Tony gets charged with this and it took 5 years to figure it out when they knew them within a week later. I believe some investigators now believe the guy in the hoodie and backpack walking towards the CPS building is actually BG, that he changed his clothes. I don't know. So many gross men in this area. Yeah, I know. It's like you see the local online newspapers. There's all these guys getting their mugshots for doing inappropriate things with children. Not specifically Car and Driver, but the same types of magazines or publications. Okay. What is the brown thing under his jacket? If you saw my video, I kind of went off the assumption that it might be something like this, which looks more like a fanny pack. But here it looks like it's even wider going across the full bottom of his jacket where it could be, to me, that looks like a shirt, a brown shirt, more than an actual sweatshirt, but I don't have the answer. People can't stop talking about this case. Something will give soon. I hope so. The DNA testing is YSTR testing, and it's good to rule people out, but cannot rule someone in if it's between a father and son. Okay. $350,000 reward. Yes, someone would have told the police something. I mean, you would think. And you would think Kagan would try to get it so he can finally buy a Ferrari. There was a lot of breaking news on this like 2 weeks ago. I just missed it, not sure. Yeah, there was some. The Murder Sheet podcast is releasing various interviews and search warrants that people are talking about. Maybe keeping Libby's Instagram messages private for the court case. Kagan is honestly one of the biggest liars I've ever seen. Kagan was looking things up on the computer, like DNA stuff. Yeah, it was like after the murders, he's looking up how long does DNA last? And the police said that was after his interview on the 25th, but he said he voluntarily gave them his DNA and agreed to do a polygraph because he was innocent. So if they have his DNA, why would they not have charged him yet? I heard it's a toolkit hunters commonly carry like a fanny pack. Bottom line, the police gave up at midnight. How disgusting is that? Yeah, I mean, people are saying if that was the police, their children, would they really give up? And with Tobe calling off, I guess a police dog was coming and maybe a heat sensing drone. Although I can kind of see how they would not expect that somebody would kill two teenage girls out on this trail if there's no like history of that in the area. I also believe her resetting her phone a week prior was intentional because of Anthony Shots. Yeah, I was thinking about that. And the family said her phone was acting up and she had done that in the past, but I wondered if she exchanged maybe some pictures that she did not want to be on there of herself with either Anthony Shots or somebody else, and that's why she reset it. If Kagan gave his DNA, which he did, if Tony was involved, it would point to him also. Law enforcement mentioned a brown hoodie, I think. What if Tony gave Kagan his old phones when he upgraded to new ones? All of their info is intermingled. Yeah, I saw something from like maybe 2015 or 16 where Tony wrote online that Kagan got him a new iPhone 6 maybe. But I didn't really see that in any of the police interviews. I never figured out the importance of withholding the word guys. Lots of people have had opinions, but no explanation to date makes sense to me. Yeah, I don't know why they did not either. But it seemed to me like one audio file says down the hill, another audio file sounds like it has go down the hill, like it say go down the hill, which is more of like telling them what to do instead of saying there's something down the hill. Whoever did this must have done it before. First timer would not stage or take your time. Seems like this person has experience doing this. Yeah, I mean, this whole thing is obviously messed up, but adding staging to it seems even weirder. The killer was definitely in an authoritative role, too confident, familiar with the bridge, narcissist traits. That ain't Tony or Kagan. They had no confidence, only behind a screen. They may have played behind the scenes. Best guess about Kagan not knowing how his brother was battered is that Kagan was too young to know what happened. I think the family split up soon after. Yeah, I think you're right. Most girls would know when a guy is sketchy. He must have been giving off bad vibes. I mean, yeah, I mean, look at his jacket. And some people said he had a face covering over the bottom of his face. The killer could have told the girls to go over the bridge so that when he saw them go over the bridge, the coast was clear and then he followed. Yeah, I don't know that they had a conversation before or around that bench area or not. One possibility is the killer wanted the girls down the hill, under the bridge, so he could expose himself or demand an obscene act, but they ran and he felt he had to kill. Yeah, I can see that as happening. And I do wonder if they did run across that creek to try and get away, but then how did he get them together again? The truth will spill. Meth users won't be able to keep the secret for long. Well, it's been 5 years, so if it was somebody, if this guy that we're looking at now is related to drugs, why hasn't anybody identified him? Not that I'm saying you're wrong, Charlie. All right, I'll go for about another 15 minutes, you guys. There is the police scanner mention of a fellow with a duffel bag. So there's that too. Might Bridge Guy have a duffel bag under the jacket? Yeah, I mean, it could be something, but I don't think he could have had a bag in there where he could have taken off that jacket and fit it into a bag. But I don't know. I mean, it's like, it is possible actually, because that thing is so stuffed. I don't know, to be honest. A few months after the murders, Libby's cousin posted on Reddit. Someone left a comment about a conversation on a RTV6 live feed they saw, and someone claimed to witness the murders. On the news the day they were missing, they said there were people walking all along the water looking for the girls. Then Ron Logan said they were found right out in the open. How were they not found day one? Obviously, that's very suspicious, but it was in the dark. I don't know if their bodies were covered with leaves to kind of hide the scene or not. Yeah, I don't have the answer, obviously. The Kleins have family members and friends that are younger and could possibly fit the description of Bridge Guy. Wonder if they have been looked into. I know that there's a cousin of Kagan that Tony is close to, but I don't think he matches this guy. Law enforcement admits they have DNA. If any part of that DNA matched the Kleins, I think they would both be arrested by now. Yeah, I think so. Carter said it's his shirt, I believe is what he said when he was on Dr. Phil. And the person said, they'll never find him. He's hiding in plain sight. Yeah, that was a weird Doug Carter quote. They wrote that in 2017, 2 years before Doug Carter said that exact quote. Oh, I didn't know that. Kagan keeps spending his money at Waffle House, so he can't afford a Ferrari. Yeah, I don't know how he afforded anything, to be honest. Was he selling stuff online? Obviously, he said he was making restaurant menus using an app. I don't know. He's an idiot. Was he making Waffle House menus? The killer is so freaking lucky. First murderer ever to be recorded with audio and video in this case. And this case is big, yet still not identified. Yeah, it's crazy to me. And the most frustrating thing is with this and the Missy Beavers case that I looked into, it's like if the phone and the security cameras had higher resolution, these would have been solved years ago. Hopefully, as time goes on, more people won't be getting away with this stuff. I think Kagan had done a lot of weed up to the time he was first arrested and interrogated. His mind is a lot clearer at this time. Well, I don't know about that. His 2020 interview where he's in jail, he's still acting like an idiot. Look up why STR DNA analysis. It explains some problems they could be having with the DNA. The police giving up is disgusting and unforgivable. Yeah, but I mean, what would change if the girls were dead at 2:30 in the afternoon? What would it matter if the police found them at 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., or sorry, like even 1 a.m.? I don't know what other evidence they could have gotten that they did not get at 12:30 the following day. I feel like they don't have DNA. Brown hoodie, is that army hunting gear colors? Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with this outfit. We tend to think that DNA is partial or touch DNA or something, so it could be hard to tell one Klein from another. I'm glad some of you are optimistic about a resolution for these heinous crimes. I'm losing hope. Well, I mean, it seems like the police are trying to find some kind of angle with the Kleins and Anthony shot, so hopefully that will lead to something. I heard releasing it later was a message from law enforcement. We know there were two of you. Was a law enforcement guy who thought that. The police said that the person we see on the screen is the only person who was there. That's what I saw one time. Doesn't touch DNA only provide like a 1/6 probability? So many people in the population could not be ruled out by that. Even people outside the Klein family, if it's even a potential match with them. I think they have DNA, but you can only run it once and then you lose it. So it must be small, and they're waiting for a better technique to utilize this small sample. And I also think the killer was experienced. In my Missy Beavers research, there's a new kind of DNA technique. I think it's after these murders happened. Maybe not that one. I think it's called MVAC, the letter MVAC. Garrett Kurtz has a brown hoodie and hat, looks like that in one of his YouTube videos. Oh, crap. I wonder if they'll ever release more audio. It makes me think that that's the only audio of his voice they have without Abby and Libby. Yeah, I would imagine there might be some overlapping of his voice and maybe the girl sounding scared, because obviously if some guy pulls out a gun, it's going to be scary. Hi, Jennifer. Thank you. I'm leaving soon. Garrett Kurtz does not match the body of Bridge Guy. Kurtz fills out his jeans in every single photo, video. He's a thicky country boy. I've been looking for it. I've been looking through everything I can find from the days after the murders. I'm not sure what you guys are talking about. I must have missed it. Sorry. His fanny pack contains tools, suggests premeditation. Didn't Garrett Kurtz say he knew who Bridge Guy was, but he wouldn't say because the lives of his family would be at risk? I did watch some of those interviews with him, and I forget what he said, but I remember he said his dad talked to the police, and he was like, I'm not talking to you without my lawyer or something. It's like, why would his dad not want to talk to police about 2 teenage girls getting murdered? Thank you, Maria. I appreciate you joining in your comments. I've also been looking over footage from the motorcycle memorial ride. Yeah, I was looking at that to see if anybody's wearing this outfit, but I never really saw anything. I think Kagan and Tony are involved. I think they set this up to film the crime. I think they sold the video in Vegas. I believe it was all pre-planned and the staging was for filming purposes. So you think they wanted to make money off of this on the dark web? But like I said before, I would imagine somebody would have noticed it on the dark web. I don't know. Who knows if people are familiar with this case? Law enforcement has said more than once that Bridge Guy is responsible for the murders, but they never called him the killer. Yeah, I think you or somebody else said that yesterday. I think he's got a balaclava around his neck. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate you joining and asking your questions before and not being a troll. Thank you, Charlie. I appreciate it. Thank you, Sassy. I watched my video a week ago to get caught up, and I wasn't that impressed with myself. On Poshmark, Kagan is now following a Maxwell, who I believe is close to the family. He's a youth pastor. Yes, like, why were Tony and Kagan on Poshmark? And I forget who. One of them had like the other's picture. No, I think it was Kagan's Poshmark had Tony's photo. Thank you. I appreciate it. If Libby lost her shoe before running and crossing the creek, it would have been difficult. Frozen water and slippery rocks. He could have caught up to her. They did say Abby was a hero for not leaving her. I thought they said Libby was a hero for that. Garrett Kurtz indicated to Open Secrets that there was a video of the crime. As I recall, Ashley Garth, his girlfriend, had supposedly seen the video or something. It's like, why aren't those two telling the police? So maybe Killer is a cameraman, audiovisual tech for news or for online stuff. Where are the comments that he's reading from? I'm way behind on the comments, sorry. Yeah, and referring to the shack was to the killer too, I think. I think that was for Snapchat guy? SC guy? I don't know who you're referring to. Did Kagan get disability payments per his health issues? I don't know. But I was wondering, is he like collecting unemployment and using that for buying CSAM images? It's like using taxpayer money for that. So nice exchanging thoughts and chat or ideas with everyone. Yeah, I appreciate people joining. Like I said, I'll go about 5 more minutes. The Shack deals with a father who abused his son too. Yeah, I did not read that book, but I did look at an interview with the author at one point. Kagan was definitely extorting young girls and selling their photos online to other sickos for profit. That reminds me, in his interview, police said, "We know about your money account with Libby or something. So I don't know if he sent her money or she sent him money. I don't know. But that was something that stuck out to me. Bye, Billy. You're welcome. Isn't the Maxwell House one of the search warrants? Yes, and it's also a brand of coffee. I looked into that when it first came out, and it seemed like nothing came out of it. Although I think Libby's mom said she or somebody else saw the young boy walking near the train tracks or something the day of the murders, and he was also communicating with Libby on social media. I don't think Kagan was a menu designer. That's a joke. He's a professional CSAM salesman. None of us understand the shack reference. For what it's worth, the book uses real Oregon places names. The shack would be local in Hell's Canyon, upriver from me. No kidding. I would have freaked out if I was in that press conference and Doug Carter said to the killer, who might be in this room. I know, it's like, why did he say that? And he said, we know this is about power to you. This is in the 2019 one. So the first comments he said right before that was something like, you thought we were going in one direction and didn't think we would change it, which to me indicated the Kleins. But then when he said, we know this is about power to you, how would that relate to Tony or Kagan? For anyone losing hope, look at the Brittany Drexel case. I've never heard of that one. Wow, I'm way behind on comments, sorry. I thought, yeah, you guys stop commenting. I thought DC, Doug Carter, referenced the shack because the news article from that time said Garrett Kurtz stuffed Bowen's body in a shack. Yes, that's true. There was that reference, but I think Garrett had already been arrested for that murder. So why would he be saying that reference if they didn't think it was Garrett? Wasn't there some chat about the shack being a movie played right around the time of the murders at a church youth group? Yes, I think I saw that at some point in my research, was people were talking about that one suspect who, in my video, I said I think his face is way too wide to be the killer. But some people said that he borrowed a car from a pastor who was out of town, and they thought maybe his teenage son was there also. I don't know. I don't think it's either that pastor or his son on the bridge. But I know people are saying, oh, he was in the creek doing baptisms and stuff. And that might have been a religious reference to this, but I don't think it was that guy. Remember, Kagan wiped his phone clean from the dates of February 10 to 15. I think that's very telling. On the phone they didn't get when they served that warrant. Yeah, I guess you can't search or ask law enforcement to find what someone searched. Like if you're connected at home to an internet service provider, I think they could tell. But I don't know why Samsung or Apple could not tell what a device, which URLs they went to. Because if you search on Google, like if you search Delphi murders, the results after you click search include the terms Delphi murders in the long URL. I wish I had a pizza for dinner. 43 seconds, yeah. Although I did hear also 2 minutes, so I'm not sure. Shack is also a railroad term. If you look up articles about Bowen's murder, they specifically say shack. Yes, I did see that. I heard Libby was reading the book. Movie was being released in the May, so I thought maybe she was SC about it to somebody, Snapchatting about it to somebody. DeLorean has made 3 videos about this, but the painted black one is the most shocking in my opinion. Thank you for joining, Sassy. I appreciate all your comments. Could it be that Libby was reading the book and she had a small backpack that we don't know about and it's missing with that book? It could be. But why would she bring a book to the bridge? But it's a possibility. I'm not sure. The scarf may be covering up tattoos. Yeah. I found some guy online. I searched for guys in Indiana who have red hair, who are 5'6" to 5'8". He's 5'6". He has a neck tattoo, but he is bald on top. And he was a Lyft driver, which I don't think I thought of when I was thinking of who could be off on a Monday. But he lives in Bloomington, which is like an hour away. And I do not think it's that guy. Do you think law enforcement collected the killer's DNA from the scene? I think they've mentioned having some kind of DNA, but it's not like it's a perfect sample. I don't know if this is about me, but thank you if it is. Oops. Is this going to cut into your production of making fun of the news this week? Who cares? No, actually, I just finished editing it. I'll put it up later. Kagan said he had to set everything up for his dad. So maybe Kagan made the accounts for his dad to use too. Yeah. I was saying yesterday, the police seem to be saying that 2 different people are doing these chat messages. So why do they think that? Because when I looked at Tony's Facebook page, every post, he does not know how to use periods or commas. I said, I'm going to say in my video, can somebody please put out an Amber Alert for Tony's missing punctuation? Because to me, if the police are looking at Tony and Kagan's Facebook, they would see that Tony's writing style is a little bit different than Kagan's. Thank you again, Tom. Do I think the mayor is a possible suspect? Do you know if he was ever questioned? I do not know. I know a lot of people say they look at one of those press conferences and he's standing in the back and people think he looks guilty. From what I've seen and heard of him, I do not think that is the guy that we're looking at right there. Sloan Bella. Oh, Tony or Tom, you never emailed me. I sent you my email. I will look at that case you want me to look at, but not in depth. Sorry. Sloan Bella did an original take on it, even if you think psychics are BS. I've heard that name, but I have not watched that. Think about if they ran, wouldn't there have been way more noise? I know, it's like if you get away and you're in the creek, first of all, the water's freezing. How could nobody hear them scream in an empty woods in the winter? I don't know. I think the girls decided to cross the creek and it enraged the killer. I think it was a fatal mistake, and in my opinion, there was a struggle on the south bank of the creek. Thus, Libby's shoe left there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how her shoe could have came off because I doubt her shoelaces were loose going across this high bridge. The mayor of Delphi, someone would have recognized him that day or on the video or audio. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, all the locals who were at this trail obviously know who their mayor was, and the girl on the trail who saw this guy would have said, oh, that's our mayor. And he has short hair, not like what we see that might be longer reddish brown hair in the front. Yes, about the movie shown, church group. The Kleins went back and forth a lot to Las Vegas, that's for sure. Drug or sex related, although, sorry, I lost my place. There was talk about them trying to get to the Bunny Ranch, but I guess Kagan was trying to negotiate pricing. It was too far and too much money. That's kind of weird that a father and son were going to go to the Bunny Ranch together. But Kagan said, oh, we never talked about younger girls. But a lot of Kagan's messages were like, my dad wants to know this, or like, how old is the oldest guy you would hook up with? And Kagan said his dad hooked up with his 17-year-old friend. I've asked questions about sound. The creek makes noise flowing along. Okay, that's true, I'm sure. There are ravines and hills and lots of trees. Sound doesn't carry that good, but in the winter, when there are no leaves, it does. So I'd imagine any teenage girl with a high-pitched scream, even people maybe at Freedom Bridge would hear something. Gray Hughes stated that on that day, the wind was blowing from northeast, carrying sound away from the bridge, not toward. When Carter said killer might be in the room, there were few chairs, most filled with women and elderly, lots of men standing uncomfortably in the back by the wall. I figured they were left standing for a long time. Yeah, that was so weird that he said the killer could be in this room. Isn't Garrett Kurt's TGF girlfriend out of prison on bond? I think Ashley Garth got sentenced to quite a few years for the Nicole Bowen murder. It's worth noting Tony's dad was arrested for indecent exposure, so perhaps this is a generational abuse grooming thing. I hope the creep is caught soon. Yeah, hopefully something good. Who would want power? Someone that isn't taken serious in real life, someone who is serious in real life and thrives on it, someone that holds a position of authority and loves it. About power too is very generic, could be applied to any murderer. There seems to be a lot of peculiar drug, extremist religion, repressive psychosexual sorts of things in this area of the country. I've never been there, but I get that sense. Yeah, there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of guys getting arrested for stuff. Could Kagan be their weed guy? Maybe someone that they were looking to procure weed from. That's the reason for point of contact with him. Well, Kagan lives on Google Maps. It says it's 40 minutes from the bridge to Peru, Indiana. There are lots of factories and packing plants in this area. Shift work. Lots of men could have been off work at that time in that locality. Probably different speech patterns, word choice, and as you noted, punctuation. I think the account is used by more than TJ and KK. A creepy fact is that Mark Redwine was at Packers on February 12th. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've heard that name, but I don't know exactly who he is and what you're referencing. When looking at suspects, it's helpful to think about motives. What would the motive be for the mayor to commit a double homicide? And he's a familiar face in town, so that would be beyond high risk. Stuff a cloth in their mouth so no noise. Yeah, I mean, he could have had something in like masking tape under that jacket. Like I said, if that's a rope, did he tie their hands with rope and cover their mouths? That's actually a good idea because nobody heard them screaming. The killer must have used Ron Logan's property to change clothes. Strangely, Ron would go to the dump the following day, but I'm certain law enforcement investigated. Ron went to the dump the day of the murders he was at the recycling place 11:53 to 11:58. The murders happened 2.5 hours later. Hi. Before the Kleins, I looked hard at Garrett Kurtz, especially after learning he staged the scene at Roy's apartment. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of similarities with Garrett, but why was he never arrested? And he obviously has like no regard for human life. You wonder who could kill 2 teenage girls, and Garrett has he killed 2 people in a short amount of time. I'm not sure what kind of sneakers Libby was wearing, which one came off. The police said that there was so much blood where the girls were found that they think they were killed in the location where they were found. So I guess after that, he did something to their bodies, but they were not, I guess, moved very far. I don't know if he pulled them by, yeah, I was thinking about this. They said that some clothing was missing. So I was wondering, people thought maybe it was a souvenir, but I was thinking if maybe the killer thought some of his DNA transferred to somebody's clothing, would he take that clothing just so his DNA could not be found at the scene? Maybe the killer, who was interested in Libby, had paid Kagan to have Libby submit pics videos. I don't know that Libby ever took inappropriate pictures of herself. Obviously, she was chatting with Anthony Schatz, and the only reason Kagan was talking to her was to get those kind of pictures. I went back and found where Tobe said they were murdered where they were found, so I think the staging took place in that area, not that they were killed elsewhere. Yeah, it seems to be that way. Yeah, Maria, it's like if somebody has a gun and says, "Don't scream," you're probably not gonna scream, especially in this area where the girls did not probably see anybody else. Oh, crap. I think he disguised himself on purpose. He was a man on a mission, sad. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, especially with this pixelation, you really can't even tell. Red wine was the one who disappeared, the little bow by the creek? Yeah, I don't know who that is, sorry. I have heard the name. People were not around, Ron was not home, and he lay direction of wind. Webbers were away, open cemetery, no one had to hear anything. They were not carried in, imagine it, logistics don't work. Well, I mean, Ron's search warrant said that he was on the phone near the bridge at 2:09. So I'm curious why he did not hear anything. Or was he really inside and maybe talking on the phone when this happened? In the one press conference, the mayor looked so uncomfortable. A profiler said his body language clearly showed he was very worried and bothered by what was said. Well, I mean, he is the mayor, and it's like 2 teenage girls were just murdered in your town. It's gotta be upsetting to some people. Skating down the hill could mean a lost show. Yeah, that first hill was very steep. So maybe I don't know if she fell, but like I said, I'd imagine her shoes were pretty well laced. Zip ties are better than rope. Maybe when the girls are running, he caught the one with the shoe that came off, held the gun to her, and told the other girl she better come back or he will kill her. Yeah, that seems possible. I think whatever he has in his hand on, in his pocket, there was either a gun or maybe a fake police badge or something to get them to cooperate. Yeah, some people speculated that he said, "I'm in law enforcement and you're trespassing and you need to go down the hill." Yeah, the police scanner mentioned something about undergarments were found. I don't know, was it under the bridge or near the creek, near the water, or in the water? All right, I'm 15 minutes away from 3 hours. I'm gonna stop in 15 minutes. Unless the shoe is a signature. Do you think the girls crossed the creek as an escape attempt? I mean, we don't know what this person, this guy was attempting to do. Was it sexual? Was it a kidnapping? Was it a murder? So why would he not do anything under the bridge? Because there is that private road going to a house. So obviously you wouldn't want to really do something there if one of the neighbors pulled in. But it seems odd to have two girls and even him have to walk across a cold creek in February. Highly unlikely. I'd never let anybody on video ever again or audio. Sorry for that. I tried to prevent it, but I couldn't. When I first learned of the case, that was a main question in comments. I reasoned out that the girls must have decided to cross. Yeah, I don't know what could have happened, but it definitely seems like a logical possibility. Mark Redwine was killed by his dad in Colorado. As I recall, they too were from Indiana. Yeah, I vaguely remember seeing something about that. That crime scene was pre-planned and staged. He had that spot in mind, and he made them cross. Yeah, like I said, if you look at the jacket, it looks like something was pre-planned. And across the creek would seem like a good place, but it's kind of dangerous to try and get across it, even though it was low in some areas. Dylan Redwine. Thank you for all the nice comments and for joining and for all of your viewpoints. Family has admitted there is some audio about the girls talking something like, "The trail ends here. What do we do?" And also, they think they said that creepy guy is coming again or coming or something like that. You can't carry everything in a jacket that he used, needed, and for the staging. Sorry, can't believe that. My dinner's not ready now. I was in error to say Mark Redwine was the victim. He was the dad who killed his son Dylan. I've been corrected and deleted my first comment. Isaac Reinwand was a suspect in Decor Coons. Who did you say was at Packers that day? Somebody said Mark Redwine or something. I don't know. Thank you for joining, Lynn. They didn't have enough time to do all that from 2:13 to 3:3. Oh, sorry, yeah, 3:30. It's not possible. Thank you for joining, Nate. We were just talking about the mayor. I don't think it's him. I've been told there is nothing on audio about the creepy guy. I believe it was a botched kidnapping. Yeah, but is one guy really going to think he can kidnap two girls at the same time? Oh my God. I don't think I have any spreadsheets about Delphi, just about Missy Beavers. Thank you, Abby. Thank you, Driftwood. Isaac is a witness in the Idaho case of a missing toddler, no connection to Delphi. What if he had accomplices? Yeah, I said I was naive, just seeing one person on the bridge and assuming only one guy was involved. I mean, I don't know if the girls saw somebody else on the opposite side of the creek, and was there somebody waiting over there to assist in a kidnapping or a sexual assault or a murder? I don't have the answer. But the girl and the guy who said they saw a bridge guy before and after only mentioned one person, unless somebody else did enter through the cemetery by walking. Mrs. E thinks it was a one-man situation. All right, you guys, I'm going to end it now. Thanks again for joining this weekend. I appreciate everybody joining, or most everybody, not the trolls. It's okay. You're allowed to give your opinion, Candy. Sorry. Not the mayor, not a cop, not Kagan, but he knows who did it. More than one for my money. Petos are effed up, running packs. Thank you for joining, Bob. Cody, I don't really see police releasing any more evidence, although I was kind of surprised at the Anthony Shots stuff. Yeah, Jackie never showed up, or at least I didn't see her. She's probably at Ron Logan's grave saying, "You're responsible." Thank you, Marianne. Thank you, Sally. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Wishful Thinking, Patricia. All right, in 5 seconds, I'm ending it. Bye. Thank you. I appreciate it.